I'm Duncan, and wow, urban was not planned, and so it's just amazing how it all lined up for me to step into that next space of creating something that was for me, and then just opening it up to the community. So that was in 2016 is when I started Urban. So I'm from Fort Collins, and I remember my dad used to take us down to Denver to go to a black church. So I was raised on a farm. And so he would take us down to Denver so we could be around the black community. And then he'd always say, like, avoid 5 points at all cost. And so I didn't even know what 5 points was. So I was in law enforcement for 10 years in Fort Collins, and got into yoga, practicing yoga when I had my last child. So I have 3 children. So I really got into yoga. I practiced yoga in Fort Collins. And then I just remembered being around a lot of the black community when my dad would drive us to Denver for church. And so I was like, oh, I'll come down to Denver and check out their yoga scene. And in my mind, I was thinking there'd be so many more black people than there were in Fort Collins. So when I got here, sadly there was not. And then so I tried a whole bunch of yoga studios, and I was still the same. It was still the same as in Fort Collins, was just a lot of white bodies on their mats. So when we moved down to Denver after my last child graduated from high school, I just decided I just didn't really feel comfortable continuing to go to the yoga spaces that were available. And so I just decided to open up my own space and then invite in the black community, because I knew they were here somewhere. I just didn't know where. So I actually looked around a lot at different buildings, and none of them had a vibe. And so I gave up. I stopped looking, and then I was looking at Craigslist. And then I just happened to look at Craigslist, and the picture of this building popped up, but it was white in the picture. And so I fell in love with it. I got full body goosebumps. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go down there. But the crazy thing is across the street, I was going to yoga across the street here in the plaza to do hot yoga with my sister and my oldest daughter. And so when I was driving down here to check out this building, I was like, oh my gosh, I know this area. And then I walked through the building, and at the time it was an abandoned speakeasy bar, and it was horrible. It was disgusting. It smelled like cigarette smoke and alcohol, and it was gross. But right when I walked in, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the place. Like, this is the place. And then I was laughing because it was in 5 points. And so once I met with the owner, I signed the lease. I was talking to my dad. And first of all, he was very concerned that I was in 5 points and that I chose to open up a yoga studio in 5 points. But after we settled in, he was telling me that he used to come to 5 points. He's from Texas, and he was in the Air Force in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And him and his friends, his late teens, would drive from Cheyenne, Wyoming to Denver. And he was just telling me about all the places that he would go. And he's just like, yeah, there was this place that we would frequent, and it was a pool hall. And we would come in, we'd shoot pool. And so he's telling me about all these stories, like the police were involved because then it turned into gambling in the back. And I was like, oh my gosh, Dad, like, that's my building. So my dad used to come here and hang out when he was a teenager. So I thought that was cool that it was the same building that my dad was in, even though he pushed me away from 5 points, that he was here. And then I was in the building that he was in when he was younger. Every time I went to practice yoga and there was nobody in the space that looked like me, I was raised around the white community, so for me it was normal until I started getting older, and then like noticing that it wasn't normal. And how that started to unfold was my daughters. So both of my daughters are queer. And then just them being raised in Fort Collins, how they were, it's just like, oh, like I was starting to see things a lot different. Like, so I was raised strict Christian. And then for me to have 2 adults that were queer, 2 adult daughters that were queer, it was just like, oh. So I started to see like what they were being pushed up against too. And so just having a conversation with my oldest daughter when we first opened up Urban, it's just like, yeah, this had been a great space for her to be a part of when she was younger. And so just the concept of urban and then creating it and then having her a part of creating it was really powerful. So then everything that we did was for the Black and brown community and for the queer community to have free classes so they can have that experience to be in a space where they just feel comfortable, right? So the majority of the teachers are Black and brown, and we have queer teachers too. And so that's just, I don't know, your body just softens around it. Whereas if you just went to, I don't even want to use the word normal, but a typical yoga space that you may not know that if the teacher is queer or not. It lands a little bit different. It took a while. So I opened in 2016, and I think the big shift for us, I had a couple of connections that supported me in the, it was called Black Girl Magic. Those were the free classes at the time when we first opened. But then 2020 happened, and that was like a big shift for us. Even though I had to close my doors for a year during 2020, just everything around the energy, everything that was happening, like really expanded urban, where I had to add in 2 more free yoga classes for the Black community, and then free, we had 2 more classes for the queer community. So that just expanded it. But from 2016 all the way up to 2020, it was, I didn't promote urban, I just kind of let urban do what it wanted to do. And I knew that when it was time, that everybody who wanted to be here or who resonated would show up. So I wasn't forcing it at all. Okay, I'm learning to let go. So this is this is my stepping into more of my power, is to literally let go. My son's involved with urban. He does the photography, and so just trusting that and how it unfolds. My oldest daughter, letting her shift into her own thing. So she created the logo, she created the website, she played a big part. Then to have her step away and do her own thing, just learning how to completely let go. And then just understanding that even though I created it, urban is expanding in its own way. And then when I step away, then it's going to keep doing what it does for whoever still wants to be involved. So even though I created it, I get that my energy is connected here, but I still know that the teachers, the students, the community, they all add such a powerful energy to urban. So when I do step away, that it will vibe how it's supposed to vibe. Ooh, what would I say? The biggest thing for me is just to trust. When I first had the concept of opening urban, my husband at the time was saying you need to create a questionnaire before you open it to see if people are looking for yoga in this area, and that just doesn't land. And so it's just trusting. I'm a big fan of jumping and then pulling my parachute. I just want to just go. So even when I left, I went to India when I was in law enforcement. I studied for 7 weeks, and then when I came back, I just wanted to quit. So I didn't have anything planned. So every version of myself that's ever done something new, I don't think about it. I just do it, and then just trust. So there is, I don't have a laid out plan of how to get from point A to point B. I just do whatever feels good, whatever shows up, and then I just trust. And I mean, my assignments are always there. I don't get out of my assignments, and everything aligns exactly how it's supposed to. It's completely based on the student, the community who shows up. What do you want to do with that accessibility that's here? So we have a thing, our little quote is "come as you are," and people do come as they are. And in that quote, in that action, in that experience, we've had a few challenging situations within the community. And so some people do take that ability to be okay, this is a safe space, but then instead of regulating themselves, they blow it into the community. So instead of stepping aside or looking at it from a distance, they take what is available, and instead of using it in a productive way, they've used it in a way of cycling their own trauma and then bringing it into the community. So there's so many different levels that people have used what's accessible at Urban, to either heal, to expand, to share with their friends, to bring in communities, and then to also try to break it down, try to blow it apart with just their words and their actions. So holding space for all of that, how people show up, is it is challenging. But again, I always circle back to just trusting, like whoever's supposed to be here will be here, and whatever that looks like is exactly what it will look like. Urban sanctuary means basically transformation. So the version of me who aligned with it when it first started, to teaching yoga teacher training, to teaching whoever was interested in quantum jumping, to notice myself through all of those concepts that I've been teaching, how I've been transforming myself, to be comfortable stepping away from Urban, to trust whoever is going to come in and support me in expanding Urban. So it is just transformation. Like, so when you look at yoga and how it opens up the body, like you're transforming your body. And so even the asanas, the practices, aerial, everything that we have is transformation. So staying in it, understanding that, okay, this part of me is coming up to be healed. And every time that you expand within that healing, then you are transforming. So in this moment, as in every moment, Urban is transforming, and it is transformation if you tap into it and if you allow yourself to expand within it. Focusing on putting more energy and understanding into community. I feel that's how you protect it. Because if you care about community, then you care about how you show up. You care about what you're moving through. Even if you have to step away from a space that you've connected with until you regulate yourself and you can come back, is I think really powerful also. So just understanding, like, what does community mean to you? How would you show up to support your community? Like, community is so much bigger than a handful of people or a person. Like, the root of community is what has allowed hundreds of people to come through the doors over the last 10 years to shift their lives, to shift their health, to shift things about them that they wouldn't have that access to before. And so is community bigger than a situation that you're working through that came up in this space? So understanding what community is I think the anchor of keeping something like Urban still standing, regardless of who is in the space, enjoying it or running it or expanding it. Regulating yourself, like, some people don't know what that is. And so then to say, to self-regulate, like what does that even mean? And that's where, like, the teachers, even the offerings that we have help to support that, like EFT, like emotional freedom technique, and yoga helps to do that, even if people don't know what they're doing. So to put that on the community, to say you need to self-regulate, like well, so many people are just in survival mode. So for them to say self-regulate, that means absolutely nothing. And that's where we have the uncomfortableness that has come up, is because some community members are in survival. And so then it's just those who understand what self-regulating is, and compassion is just holding space regardless of what happens, and then to keep still moving forward with Urban expanding, and to be that safe space regardless of what happens, is how those individuals self-regulate, right? Not to respond in a way that is defensive or protecting yourself because of whatever unfolded. It's self-regulating yourself to see the bigger picture. And that goes all the way back to community, like me holding space and letting those people be in their survival mode and just be compassionate, is the self-regulating that is the anchor. of how like a handful of teachers show up constantly. The feeling that I still experience, and especially if I didn't know what regulating is just peace, like calmness. Like the space is so calm, and then just to see how people interact with each other it just creates a safe space. So it's not, there's so much that comes up when you do yoga, when you breathe, when you connect with other people, right? Your shadow side starts to come up. So the space may not feel safe, but it's a safe space that you can like just move through whatever you need to move through. And so it's always coming back to feeling what you feel, especially when your whole body, your soul, your mind is pushing up against it, is like, okay, this is a calm place. This is a calm place that I can say what I need to say, or I can ask the questions without, an instructor or the community coming at me. That's what makes it safe, even though it may not feel that way when your emotions are coming up or you're feeling dysregulated. So yes, feeling peaceful and calm. The biggest thing as I step away after 10 years of pouring into urban and the community is just accepting it for what it is, right? Not creating a story that I should be here or I should appear or arrive or be in this space. And it's just honoring that part of myself that has done what I've done. And now to shift away from pouring into everything outside of me to pouring into me, to see what that feels like and to start accepting it. And so when I start to pour into myself, then I know that will pour back into the community, even if I'm not here. But just my connections that are here, me still connecting with the shared leadership team, all of it is going to completely shift urban in a way that I would have never been able to experience or witness while being in the space, while still doing the same thing that I have been doing for the last 10 years. And so I am really excited to see what that looks like, to shift that energy and to see how it completely expands. It'll have to be my teenager self. So I was a teen mom when I was 17. And I've always had the energy that I had to show up so much to get things done, to be accepted, to not be a version of the community or of race that I didn't want to have people judge me being a teen mom. So for that version, I would tell her that you don't have to work so hard. Like, it's just pouring back into yourself is what will allow you to expand. And so me being 53, pouring into myself is basically moving from point A to point B without all of the hustle that happened from 17 to 53. So yeah, so just reassuring that version that it doesn't have to be so much work. So you can visit urbansanctuary.love, and that will have everything about the studio.